So those people en masse are demanding vaccine mandates, cheering for it, and we got so much on this stuff. I'm saying this is why we started with the New Hampshire seceding from the Union thing, because I'm like, yo, this is all just gonna fall apart. You ready for this? Here you go. Libby, you live in New York City, right?
I do.
Mm-hmm. DeBlasio rolls out COVID booster shot plan utilizing all NYC vaccination sites. We're ready. Mm-hmm. So it's only a matter of time until you're the person at the restaurant with them saying, do you have proof of vaccination? And you show them and they'll go, this only has 2 on it.
Right, yeah.
And you're going to be like, but I'm vaccinated. Yeah, but now we're doing boosters.
Yeah, I know.
To be fair,
that's what's nice.
The current mandate is for at least 1 shot.
Right, so it's going to
which
be...
is funny, isn't it?
New York, New Orleans, San Francisco, and LA.
The funny thing is...
and then all of California, probably. Yes.
They're saying it's a vaccine mandate, but you don't have to be fully vaccinated. So my question there is 1 shot enough?
It's just because it's about compliance. It's only about compliance.
Yeah, you can. A vaccine card is not a negative COVID test. You can actually have a vaccine card, have been vaccinated, contract COVID, and then go to this restaurant, show them your vaccine card, and sit down. Like that's where we're at.
You see the story about that lady?
The thing with the antibodies, right? So if you've had COVID and you have a natural immunity, that doesn't count, which is absurd. Yeah. Right? That's just absurd.
And for big events, I was just at a music festival in Greenwich, and basically, unvaccinated people were required to have a test, and vaccinated were not required to have a test. I mean, why wouldn't everybody be required to have a test? Because everybody can spread it. So, that is a core hypocrisy. Everyone should have to get tested if everyone is still spreading it.
Right.
How is that controversial?
Did you see that story about the woman who was vaccinated but got COVID and died from it?
Ooh.
And in their obituary, they were like, she was vaccinated but was infected by someone who chose not to be. And it's like, well, you don't know that. Breakthrough cases are rare, but they happen. Mm-hmm. She got one. Maybe she got it from somebody who also had a breakthrough case, just making that up. But this is the craziest thing when they say stuff like, we must protect the vaccinated from the unvaccinated. And I'm like, I don't understand what that means.
Because you can
get I don't understand what that means
so
either.
the response from many of these people on the left has been, we're saying that the unvaccinated are loading up hospital beds and congesting, the hospitals. And I was like, oh, so we should protect the fit from the fat?
Oh.
So fat people should get the boot from the hospital for triage for only the healthy people?
Well, and of course that was Mayor Michael Bloomberg's thing when he was the mayor of New York. He wanted I think he passed it. There was an extra tax on big gulps or something.
That's right.
Like that.
I don't know if that passed.
It passed and then it got repealed a year later.
Yeah. I know it was there for a minute.
He's the guy who famously said tax the poor. Unironically, literally said poor people are too stupid to know what to buy. So if we take their money from them and buy it for them, they'll be better off. Yeah, I don't see how this country stays.
I'm having a bit of a problem when they're like the vaccinated people can maybe contract it from the unvaccinated, but it's also from what I've learned in the animal population. So technically, someone could contract it from an animal like a dog.
I don't know about that. We talked about it before, and people have mentioned animal reservoir.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that COVID can be transferred and it can be in cats and stuff. But
we know it can be in bats.
But I think there was something that was a study or whatever or an article that said when it does transfer to animals, it doesn't transfer back.
But they said people got it from a bat, right?
If that's the case, then there you go. And so that's the argument.
And there's Chinese studies that it's in ice cream.
You keep bringing that up.
I know, because they did one article about it, and where did it go? It was in the food supply.
People need to understand that Ian eats a lot of ice cream.
Not anymore. Count me out.
That's that.
Well, that's why the origin does matter in an uncensored public debate about everything related to this, because that's what science is. Science is a public debate that has access to the full spectrum of information. So for anyone who says that they defend science, but they're all about getting rid of misinformation, well, actually, you're not really helping the scientific process to play out.
Well, that's the meme. It's like, we believe in, all of the scientists agree. And then a scientist goes, actually, I have something to say. And they go, banned from social media. All of the scientists agree. Mm-hmm. So you got a bunch of doctors that have been talking about alternative therapies and stuff, but they get banned from every platform. So it's like when they say this is what I love. I keep telling people, go see a doctor you trust. Don't just take it from celebrities or TV doctors. And it was really funny when leftists started attacking me for that. And I'm like, why are you mad at me? And they're like, you're just scaring people. It's safe. They should go to the parking lot at the 7-Eleven and get their vaccine from the the pop-ups that they do. And I was like, they should talk to their doctor first and then go to the pop-up. And they're like, no. And you know why? Because some doctors might give you better, more personalized advice and oppose their political medical opinions.
Well, these are the same people who definitely don't want women to see ultrasounds before they go through with abortions. They really don't want women to see that.
Oh, yeah, because
So they oppose those laws. And then, because if you see an ultrasound, I was pregnant one time, and you see the ultrasound, and it's crazy. You're like, oh my God, that's my baby. That's
So Texas does that.
Life. Texas requires that.
They really complain about that stuff, like forcing you to see an ultrasound. It's like,
Forcing you to see the life inside your body.
How strange.
How crazy.
what are you gonna do when the booster happens in New York?
Oh, I don't think I'm going to get a booster.
Because there have been a bunch of
I don't
studies
have
saying you don't
any-
need it.
I don't have any interest in getting it.
But then what do you do? What happens when they're like fully vaccinated now means booster shots every 5 months?
I don't know. I gotta say,
You can leave.
I'm sort of at a total loss. I keep I keep looking for other places to live. You know what it is? It's interesting. I don't have anything tying me to New York. I used to have a lot of things tying me to New York, like lots and lots of things. And now I have there's no reason for me to be there. There's also no reason for me to be anywhere else. I basically have no reason to be anywhere at all.
There is a reason to be somewhere else. But there is a reason to be
so
somewhere
much
else.
to give.
There's a reason to be somewhere else, but
Right.
which other
Where,
else?
yeah.
Which else?
Well, hold on.
Which else should I be in?
Montana.
That works.
Montana.
You're closer to Canada and those Post Millennial peeps, right?
Yeah, but
they're in Vancouver, right?
No, they're in Quebec.
Oh, really?
Up by North
Yeah.
New Hampshire.
They speak French.
Hey.
Not really.
There's a big super volcano in
Well,
Montana.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but Andy knows up in Portland. Go to Bozeman.
Yeah.
That's a college town. I'm sure it's very blue.
Yeah,
These
it's
are
quite
options.
blue.
I will put them on the map. You should see my map. It's ridiculous. I could
Hey.
go here. I could go there.
You go to
my
Idaho.
whole I mean, the other thing too that I've only ever lived in the Northeast, right? Like I've never lived in Maine.
Maine's great.
Blueberries.
Maine
nice.
is
Maine's
kind of
beautiful.
nice.
I actually
yeah.
went up to Maine with Bill one time on vacation.
The water is freezing.
Oh,
Well, sure, yeah.
Jeez.
And they have black flies.
Ooh,
Those big
nice.
things, they bite you. It's
They
really
have
incredible.
green ones in New Jersey. You know what they do? They when they bite you, it's not really quite a bite at first. It's like these little scissors, these scissors jaws, and they slice away at your skin, and then they bury their face inside and suck your blood out that way. That's why the bite hurts so much.
Oh, yeah, I
Because it's
think I
not
heard
like a
about
little
that.
needle. It's like
Snaring
scissors.
your
Up
skin.
in there. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those are like those black mosquitoes. They look engineered. Have you ever seen one of those up close? They look like robots.
Oh,
Or the
interesting.
ones with
I got
like
bit by one in Brooklyn.
with like the patterns on them.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
They're little
No.
stripy things. Those things are
Yeah, I
crazy
think
too.
that's that might.
They're terrible. They're like leopard mosquitoes
What
or
is it?
something.
Wow.
If
I
you-
don't know.
if
They're
you-
Dr. Seuss mosquitoes.
If you go to Maine, right, you're in the Northeast, and you can get a big plot. Or hey, wait a minute, New Hampshire.
Hey.
New Hampshire. Do you know I have a lot of family there?
There you go. Look at that. So you
Hey.
got reason to leave New York and reason to be in New Hampshire.
Perhaps.
And you can do whatever you want for the
Perhaps.
most part. You can have chickens.
Chickens.
We're big fans.
We
What?
are the biggest
love
fans.
chickens.
Has there been a
What
secession
would I
in
possibly
any
do with a bunch
country
of chicken
in
eggs?
recent? Has there
A
been any
secession?
form of an actual secession in common, memory? Or
In the
history,
US?
or like anywhere?
I
No,
mean-
anywhere.
Part
Common-
of Idaho is trying, or part of Oregon is trying
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
secede
but-
to Idaho.
When did the whole Sudanese thing happen with Sudan and South Sudan? That was I
That
mean,
was a while ago.
yeah. So probably not in our lifetime, unless. Look, I'll be honest. I
Super
wouldn't
chats.
Off, I, yeah, super
Yes.
chat. I wouldn't know off the top of my head. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, oh, yeah, look at these countries and look at that. There's a bunch of different people across the United States trying to secede. You've
Well,
got the
there-
state
there
of
was,
Jefferson. You've got a district in Colorado trying to join Wyoming.
The Czech Republic and Slovakia, they split up.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
We had all
But was
kinds
that-
of Eastern Bloc stuff. That was what, 90,
Oh, yeah.
92, 93?
The Soviet Union collapsed. There you
There's
go.
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
We had all of those Baltic states.
But it's not the same thing.
No.
Like, I guess it is. I guess once they just break apart, the union no longer exists.
Well, it's definitely different. The United States is different. It's different worldwide, right? When the U.S. is the beacon of freedom, it's all of these things that we American exceptionalists say that it is, and it's these things in part because we say it is, and it's these things in part because of our history. When the U.S., if the U.S. crumbles, if the U.S. loses freedom and liberty, then the world loses those things. It's not just us. It's the entire world.
Yep.
I just want people to realize something. I want to imagine something.
I mean, Australia is not a free place.
Nope.
Right. We know that the people, I love to cite the poll on economics that Democrats think the economy is doing fairly well, but independents and Republicans think it's doing fairly bad, which is objectively true, especially with the latest like inflation numbers and all that stuff and the forecasting down to the GDP and things like that, which Jack still says is still pretty good. But anyway, I digress. I want you to imagine these people who live in California who voted for Gavin Newsom. They adamantly believe you are in a death cult. And it's funny because you'll see it on Reddit, you'll see it on Twitter. They say these people are in a death cult. And you're like, it's really weird how in this political faction, we can have liberals, moderate, centrist, conservatives, religious folk, all having discussions and debates on a variety of issues, all disagreeing, but agreeing on liberty and principle, and then being told they're in a cult. And then you have the completely homogenous faction on the left believing they're not in the cult, but they just believe whatever they're told on TV. My favorite is when you go to like r/politics on Reddit and there'll be a headline that's an outright lie. And if you actually click the article, you'll see it's not true. But all of the comments are like, we're so smart and this is true. So I want you to imagine those kind of those people. Then I want you to imagine an actual conflict breaking out. And they're telling themselves and their friends and their families, the dangerous Trump death cultists are trying to take this country and we have to stop them. The insurrection, all of that stuff, which they genuinely believe. Yeah, they're going to fight. They're going to fight believing that they're right. And then people like us are going to be sitting here being like, yo, a bunch of crazy people are trying to push crazy, nonsensical things on everyone else. The point I'm trying to make is there is no remedying the divide. It's impossible. It's not possible.
I mean, that's an extreme statement.
It's not possible.
It might be possible. I'm thinking about Hitler abusing the media to drive people crazy and radicalize people. And now the media has driven people crazy and is radicalizing people, but there's no Hitler. There's no cult leader. They did away with, they don't need it anymore. Somehow they didn't need a cult leader.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.